Boys and girls, this is Mrs. Ott, and I'm here at home because we can't have classes at school. And I really miss all of you. And I'm hoping that you're all having a good time and that you still make really beautiful drawings from home. So, this lesson is our first of a few, and we'll be painting a really cute unicorn. So, here's my sample, and you'll see that you'll have different options to make it your own. So let's start painting and let's have fun. I am ready to start drawing my unicorn. So I'm going to use a black Sharpie, and we're going to try to draw the unicorn pretty large so it takes up the whole space on the paper. I'm going to try, we'll start at the center of the paper, an upside down U for the unicorn's ear, which will be something like this. Do you see how I go slow? Then you're going to draw a curved line from the ear around to create the nose, which will be much bigger, something like this. Then we're going to draw two long lines down to create the unicorn's neck, which will be something like this. And then we're going to add a curved line to connect the bottom of the neck. So right here. And we're going to add a U for the eye. So this one is kind of a sleepy eye. He or she has closed eyes and maybe some really cute eyelashes. Then we're going to draw our nose and nostrils right here, and we're going to add a flowing mane, really, so wavy lines all the way. You can go off your paper and then inside add another wavy line. Then we're going to add another line here for kind of the mane in front. And here is the part of the horn. There's one line that goes up and then goes down like that. Then we're going to add some lines around. And then here is kind of a basic unicorn. Now I'm going to show you one that has more features, just in case you want to add more details. So if I wanted to add more details to my unicorn, I'm going to look at this sheet here and maybe add some details. So I'm going to start one more time. I'm going to do the same thing I did just before. So I'm going to start near the center of the paper. Actually, let's start in pencil, because if you wanted to add details, you might want to erase. So I'm going to add a sideways or an upside down U for the unicorn's ear, and then a long sideways U for the face. And here is my neck. I'm gonna make it a little bit wider than last time, and I'm gonna close this at the bottom, and I'm still going to go here first with an upside down U for my eye, even though I will change it in a little bit. And my nose and nostrils will be about here, and then the mane. Now the mane, I do have some options. Instead of making it wavy, maybe I could do one that have patterns like this one here, kind of. So it's a different type of a mane that looks also really cool. And And then let's see, what else could we add? Maybe I wanted to add some flowers right here. So before I make the hair at the top, or the mane I should say, because they don't have hair, they have a mane. I'm going to make some really cool flowers. And then I'm going to add a little bit here, and maybe some that comes out here. And then I can add the horn right there. And still do those lines. Now let's see, what will we do with my eye? So I still have this part. Then I'm going to add a line at the top and a really large eye, and leave a little bit of white here and some really cool eyelashes like that. So that's an option. This will be colored black in a little bit. Let's see, what else could we add? Maybe here I want to add, I'm not sure why, but I think it was really cool to have like a little cupcake. And there's another layer here, and maybe one more, and a cherry on the top. And maybe I can add a star. And kind of a rainbow coming out of my star. And maybe I could add even one more star right here. You know what? I'm thinking that I'm liking this unicorn more than the other one I made. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to just Sharpie all my lines. So I finished sharpening my unicorn. So I made an outline around all the different features with my Sharpie, which is a waterproof black marker. And now I'm ready to color. So I'm going to use some crayons, and you could use anything that you have at home. So these are the ones that we have at school. You might have some that are very similar to these. And I'm also going to use just some pen watercolor if you have them at home. If you do not have these supplies at home, you can use on your unicorn anything that you have. You could use markers, you could use colored pencils, you can use crayons, oil pastels, so anything goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my crayons for all the details, which will be the cupcake, the mane, the flowers, the horn, the star and the rainbow, and the other star. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to use watercolor for my unicorn and for the background. So I'm going to start first with coloring with my crayon all my details. Well, I am done with coloring with my crayons, the mane and the flowers on the head and the horn and my stars on either side. Now, before you do your own unicorn, you need to think about the two main colors that you're going to use. You need to know what color is your unicorn going to be and what color is your background going to be. So I had decided that my unicorn would be yellow and that my background would be blue. and so that they're really popping, contrasting. If I make the background and the unicorn the same colors, we won't see it. So for the mane and the details of my unicorn, I used warm colors. So warm colors would be oranges, reds, yellow. I'm gonna put them all together here so you could see them. I have this kind of magenta, and we also have a warm purple, and here's a pink. So these are all my warm colors that I used, because I know that this part is going to be yellow. So right here is going to be yellow. So I want it to be that it goes together. Now the background will be blue, and so it will really pop. So you need to think about that before you start doing your crayon, so that you know it goes together. So now I'm going to put this back here, all my warm colors. Now in here, these are cool colors, all the blues and the greens and the purples. I'll put them right here. So try to keep your space organized, and also try to have a paper under your painting when you're drawing. When you're drawing or when you're painting. So I'm going to put this paper right here, organized, and here are my watercolors. So if you have watercolors, you can use them for this project. And remember, in the art room we have the ballerina brush, which is the really small one. I'm not going to be using this one right now. Then we have a medium-sized brush, which I will use, and the bigger one, which I will use also. So I'm going to start with my unicorn, and I'm going to test my color before I do that. So yellow, and for watercolors you want to add, I think this is a good yellow. And then I'm going to, even though we're not using watercolor paper, I'm going to add a little bit of water, and you will see that when we do not use watercolor paper, the paper becomes kind of, it does this funny like marks on the paper, but when it dries it disappears. So I'm going to start with my watercolor. Now if I go over my crayons by mistake, it's okay. You will see that they will actually resist. They're kind of like oil pastels. So that's why I can go fast, and I go back and forth. I want to get some water. That's why they're called watercolors. They need water. And I'm going to go, really important, go around your eye. And this is another reason why we used our Sharpie, which is a waterproof marker. If you use another type of marker that is not waterproof, then it will kind of smear. So here is my yellow unicorn. I'm going to clean my brush. Now for the background, I'm going to use a bigger brush. And same thing, I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I go fast because since it's not watercolor paper, this will dry really fast. Now if you do have watercolor paper at home, I recommend use watercolor paper. Let me see what glue would I like to use. If I have different options, you always want to try it out. This is a really beautiful blue. Let me see this one here. Really beautiful, hard to decide. And then there's another one here that's even more kind of traditional blue. I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to go ahead, and remember we're using oil pastels, so I can go over it, but I do want to be careful around my unicorn. Otherwise it will kind of bleed into the yellow and the blue would mix together. Now what would happen? Yellow and blue, think about what if we mix yellow and blue, what do we get? What do we get? Think in your head. Okay, my head says that if we mix yellow and blue, we would get green. So that's right. We would get some kind of a green color, which is okay. Remember that in art, there are no mistakes. You can make your unicorn the way I'm making it, but I think it's even better if you make your unicorn the way you want to make your unicorn and surprise me. So at the end of this lesson, actually when you finish your unicorn, I would love to see a picture of your painting, because that's the best part about being an art teacher, is to be able to see your students' creations and being inspired by all the beautiful things that you do. So I'm almost done here with my unicorn. All the way over here. And there we are. I think I am done for now. What do you think? Do you like it? I think I'd rather like it. I actually decided that I would like to add something here for the nose. Now I'm looking for pink. If I don't have pink, I'm gonna get some red and a little bit of white right here to mix to make a pretty pink. And do it again. You can go also, oh, that's a little bit too red. So I'm gonna get some white and just add right here. Many different options. Oh, look at what's happening. It's bleeding, the blue is bleeding into the pink. So I'm gonna try to clean it up just like that. Clean my brush. So I'm gonna try to get it out. And there we are. Boys and girls, so after I finished my unicorn painting, I was so excited that I decided we wanted to do another one about in the same vein, which means kind of in the same style, except that this one is a really cute lion. So this one was painted and done with crayons and paint, watercolor paint, the same way we did the unicorn. But I wanted to also share one that my daughter Sophie made at the same time, and she decided to use just crayons. So these would be options that you could do when we do this this project. So let's get started. We're going to make a friend for our unicorn, and this one is going to be a lion. So these two belong in a castle. They're kind of they could be banners, they could be flags in a castle that we will make next time. So I'm going to start, again, make them big. So I'm going to start with pencil, so that if I don't like it, I can erase. It's going to be kind of a curved line. Then I'm going to work on a crown. So this lion has a crown. And then I'm going to add two little ears here. And this is the part that's inside my ears. And then these ones are going to be really kind of it's the lion's mane. And you're going to start at one ear and draw a zigzag line toward the bottom of the page, of the paper, and then back to the other ear. So I'm going to start here and draw big zigzags. Like that. All the way to the other side. And then we're going to draw our eyes. So these are, again, kind of sleepy eyes, and if you'd like to add some eyelashes, I'm gonna draw them just like that, and a triangle for my nose, and then here are the shape for the mouth, and a small line up here, and then we can add dots like this. And then in here I'm going to add some jewels, but I will add that a little bit later when I Sharpie. So I just finished making the Sharpie on my lion. So it's a Sharpie outline just on the outside, and remember the Sharpie is waterproof so that I can add watercolor in a little bit. So I'm going to start with details again using my oil pastels, and let me see, I'm going to start. I know that my lion, think about your colors before you start. My lion will be yellow orange with paint. My background, I want it to be a really strong contrasting color, so I'm going to probably do it purple, and my crown maybe red. So I'm going to start on just details. So maybe my nose will be pink. And a good thing, remember that watercolor and crayons resist. So if I put a little bit of watercolor on the crayons, it will not disappear, it will not bleed, it just stays just the way it is. Maybe my ears. And also I'm going to add jewels in the crown. So if the crown, the main color is red, I should not use red, and I know that my lion is going to be yellow, so maybe I'm going to use, and my background is purple. So let's see if I could use some yellow in here, and maybe a little bit here. You could choose to repeat colors. And maybe a little bit of this purple here. And maybe I'm gonna add a different color, another green right here. So you're in charge of your colors. This is one of the most fun part of being an artist, is to choose your colors. And see which colors go together well. Maybe a little bit of orange here. And I know that this is going to be yellow, so maybe I'm gonna add a few lines. I know that if it's yellow, the orange will resist. So these crayons, they're like oil pastels. They're wax. And I'm going to just make maybe a few lines here. I could just even make a little bit of a texture. Now remember, all of this is optional. You can choose to just do your plain color. Let's see. Maybe a little bit of orange right here. And maybe a darker orange actually right here. So I'm going to put this down because I am now ready to paint. So I'm going to go right here, and you want to always have a white piece of paper under your surface so that you can test your colors. And I'm going to be using my bigger brush. So I'm going to start with a little bit of water. And same as the unicorn, this is just drawing paper, so we don't want to add too much water, just a little bit. And you see how I go all the way over the crayon because it will not bleed. And I'm going to start again with my yellow. I'm going to test it, and then I'm going to go over. And I am really happy that I did the orange because it gives it a little bit of texture. Remember to add water as you go. I add a little bit of orange, so I'm going to clean my brush, add some orange. Let me try this orange. You know what? This is a little bit of an let's see. Now you might be painting your lion a completely different color, which is fine. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Add just a little bit more right here. So you can layer your watercolor. But when you layer watercolor, you always want to start with your lightest color. So the same way I started with yellow. So orange is a little bit darker. I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to work on my background. Actually, let's do the crown first. So the crown is going to be red. So remember that it should, whoops, let's see, I'm going to go around. think I should have probably chosen a smaller brush. I'm gonna clean my brush, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the background. Actually, I'm gonna wait until this dries because I don't want it to bleed into each other, and then I will do the background.